Dear Chairman of the Acceptance Committee, we are reporting this is the main crew of the ISS expedition. We are ready to perform the sim.
Будто вы не завтракали сегодня. Надо сказать, пресса так ничего не записала, ваш доклад. Ничего не слышно.
Нормально, нормально. Все, если число помнишь, какое сегодня.
Нет, только Саманта посмотрит на часы, тогда после этого ничего не помнишь. Так вам сказали вчера, что были сбои тренажера, поэтому вынуждены были прийти, даже не подниматься сюда. Поэтому имейте в виду, еще раз напоминаю, что все отказы тренажера воспринимайте как нештатную ситуацию. Вопросы есть?
Нет.
Нет вопросов.
Уважаемые дамы и господа, есть ли у кого вопросы к экипажу? Пожалуйста, прошу.
For NASA TV, for Terry Birds, how has your training been compared to flying the space shuttle as you've done previously to your training in the Soyuz, and what are you looking forward to the most?
One of the things as a test pilot, it's always fun to fly different airplanes, and in this case I get to fly a different spacecraft. One of the things that sticks out as a difference between the Soyuz and the space shuttle is how the rendezvous and docking happen. The Soyuz docks much faster, so the orbital effects of gravity you don't notice it as much. So that's just one of the many differences that I've noticed between the shuttle and the Soyuz.
In terms of experiments which are new and which are old, there will be new experiments that are medical and biological. There will be 5 to 7 new ones and about 50 that will be continued from before. We will be using equipment that is already on station and also new equipment that we will bring along with us. It would take a long time to list all of the experiments. Are there any more questions? What language will be used? On the Soyuz, we will be using Russian. On the ISS, the partners will be using English. But generally, we speak in a Russian language combination. We can start a phrase in Russian, end it in English. It also depends on what the topic is, whether it's technical or more conversational. We don't have any misunderstandings. We understand each other unless, of course, we start speaking Italian. Well, we can manage in Italian also. Have you learned to trust each other? Yes, 2 years of joint training, of living together. All of that has allowed us to get to know each other very well. We trust each other fully. There is no doubt in that.
Samantha Cristoforetti for both NASA and ESA. How are you feeling about your flight in the Soyuz as an experienced pilot yourself, and what are you looking forward to the most? And if you could answer in both English and Italian, please.
For me, it's just amazing to be here for now at the end of a very long training flow. I mean, I came to Star City to start studying the Soyuz in June 2011 for the first time. It's been over 3.5 years, and to be here on the last day of training, on the day where we can actually show everything that we've learned and that we are ready to go and fly, it's just an amazing feeling. And then, of course, I just look forward to sitting in the real thing in just 3 weeks' time and actually blast off to space. È incredibile pensare di essere all'ultimo giorno di preparazione, di addestramento. Sono venuta per la prima volta qui alla Città delle Stelle nel giugno 2011 per iniziare a studiare la Soyuz, quindi sono passati quasi 3 anni e mezzo e oggi è l'ultimo giorno, il giorno in cui come equipaggio dimostreremo, sono sicura di essere pronti a partire, e quindi davvero una giornata di grande emozione, di concentrazione, di lavoro, ma anche di grande emozione, e poi naturalmente non vedo l'ora di sedermi nella vera Soyuz in cima ad un razzo e partire per lo spazio in soltanto 3 settimane.
Bene, bene.
Теперь гордость. Proud.
Очень горжусь. Но что делать? Уже старый.
Astronaut Dan Burbank, Director of Russian Operations for NASA at Star City, Russia. You yourself an astronaut who's flown not only on board the space shuttle, but on a Soyuz yourself just 3 years ago. The crew is taking their final exams in the Soyuz vehicle behind you. Can you talk about the kind of challenges that they're facing today and what kind of emergency scenarios that they might be going through as part of their test?
Okay, so this is the culmination of 2 years of training, and the crew's worked very hard. They've had a lot of classroom instruction. They've had a lot of simulators, typically initially focused on specific systems and gradually working up to representative missions just like they would. This one, today, for example, will include a launch. It'll include insertion into orbit. It'll include a rendezvous at space station about midday. There'll be a break for lunch. The crew will come back in the afternoon and they'll simulate the undocking and the return to Earth from there. And the entire day is pretty full. There'll be a series of probably 5 to 6 or 7 different malfunctions, some of which are pretty challenging. There'll be a couple of major cases in there, and things like fire, things like a deep press, and so forth. Things that may force them to down mode the entry to a more off-nominal one, for example, to safely return, for example, in a ballistic entry. Can't really speculate on the specific cases they'll have. The way it works is they show up in the morning, they are greeted by the commission. Typically, the commander will then, salute, as Anton did earlier today, and in front of them on a table will be set a bunch of envelopes, and inside the envelopes will be the billet, or the card that'll have all the different malfunctions, and so they'll pick one of those randomly, and the crew will all sign it and date it, and then the sim team will use the malfunctions that are listed on that card, and they've essentially, selected their fate, so to speak, for this. It's a busy day. It's a really intensive kind of sim. It is really the final exam for them. The people that are here on the commission, the people that are evaluating them, are not just their instructors, but also the flight controllers and engineers from Energia, flight controllers from the SUP, Mission Control in Moscow. So you've got the best minds in the business over here that are evaluating everything they do. So it's kind of a high pressure thing, but it's very representative of what a real mission would be like, and it kind of replicates in a pretty close manner the kind of pressure you'd feel on the real day.
Mr. Chairman of the Acceptance Committee, this is the primary crew of the ISS reporting to you for the Russian segment examination. We are ready. Very good Russian. Thank you.
Да, тут очень. Сегодня 30.
Не знаю, сколько дней достаточно. 24. А так уже не важно. Важно, сколько дней.
Вопросы есть?
Нет вопросов.
Давайте Эрика Сергеевна.
Моя задача спасать весь экипаж, включая себя лично.
I am included personally in the crew.
Конечно. Основные задачи, конечно,
The main tasks, of course, we know. We have reviewed them.
то есть будет примерно обычный день, который мы проводим на
There will be a usual day that we will spend on the ISS, starting from waking up until the evening DPC. The only thing that we do not know are the off-nominal situations.
Да, огромная программа у нас более
There's a very intense program planned. We have over 100 experiments planned. About 50 of them will be performed by me.
обязательно поставлена так тренировка, что будут
Yes, the sim is set up in such a way as to have at least 5 off-nominal situations. We do not know what they are. We have selected the list of the off-nominal situations. Our instructors and specialists will be putting them into the simulator over the duration of this day, and we will be acting accordingly to the way we were trained to deal with these situations.
Нет, на самом деле я выбрала не
Actually, I did not select traditional Italian meals, but the ones that are good for your health. Because I want to live well up on station, I want to maintain my health, and that's why I picked the healthy meals as opposed to the traditional ones like lasagna that other astronauts have picked. But I picked ones that are good for you.
TV for Terry Birds, how are you feeling about your level of preparation as you prepare to take your final exams in the space station Russian segment?
We feel really prepared. This crew is great. It's been over 2 years of training, and so we've had training in every possible situation, and we're really feeling ready for the work on the station.
Спасибо. Спасибо.
Спасибо экипажу. Удачи вам.
Татьяна, бортовая здесь у вас где? На работе?
Юрий Валентинович Лучаков. После этого вы сможете поснимать стендапы в этом зале.
Dear Chairman of the Acceptance Committee, this is the backup crew of the increment reporting to you.
Где инструкция у нас? Дмитрий, заберите документацию.
Не, Валерий Ильич, я сказал, я сам.
Хорошо. Что-то мало. Так, все, не убрали. Вы тоже расписывайтесь. Вопросы есть? Все ясно. Какая для вас предпочтительная схема? Двухсуточная или короткая? 4-клетковая?
Без нештаток. Чем быстрее, тем лучше.
Но если вопросов нет, я не знаю, будут там задавать вопросы, там Дмитрий Александрович скажет. По самочувствию, да, чтобы не жарко.
Ганя,
今日の訓練試験なんですけれども、私たちは、11月に予定されている打ち上げの、バックアップのクルーとして、今まで訓練してきましたので、それの、試験になります。ですので、今回は、ソユーズこちらのシミュレーターに乗りまして、コマンダーとあとはテルさんと、3人でですね協力しながら、ソユーズのミッション、打ち上げから帰還まで全てを通して訓練をしまして、その様子を試験をして、合格すればなんですかね、バックアップのクルーとして認められるということになります。はい。
What are you doing right now? This simulation includes all of the stages of the transport vehicle from insertion into orbit all the way down to descent, and the entire day will be dedicated to this. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Best of luck to the crew.